The psalm shifts from command to invitation. The congregation has been told to shout, to sing, and to declare God's works. Now the psalmist issues a unique call. Come and see the works of God. He is terrible in his doing toward the children of men. Psalm 66, verse 5. The invitation is open. Come and see. Not come and theorize, not come and debate, but come and look at what God has done in history. The psalmist does not argue for God's power through philosophical reasoning. He points to evidence. The works of God stand as their own testimony. The phrase terrible in his doing toward the children of men repeats the language of verse 3. God's acts produce awe in those who witness them. The children of men encompass all humanity, not just Israel. Every person who has ever lived has encountered God's works in creation, in history, and in providence, whether they recognized the source. The psalmist calls the nations to look at what stands before them and name it correctly, the power of God. This verse has a direct application to evangelism. The church does not need to invent arguments for God's existence, but points to what God has done. The cross stands as the supreme work of God toward the children of men, more terrible and glorious than any parting of waters. He turned the sea into dry land. They went through the flood on foot. There did we rejoice in him. Psalm 66, verse 6. The psalmist now names a specific work. The crossing of the Red Sea, recorded in Exodus 14, stands as Israel's defining moment of deliverance. God turned the sea into dry land. The water stood like walls on either side, while the entire nation of Israel walked through on foot. God rearranged the physical world to accomplish his purpose. The word flood likely refers to the Jordan River crossing, recorded in Joshua 3, when the priests carrying the ark stepped into the water and the river stopped flowing upstream while Israel crossed on dry ground. Two impossible crossings, two demonstrations of the same power. The psalmist collapses them together to show a pattern. God opens what cannot be done to bring his people through what cannot be crossed. The phrase, "There did we rejoice in him," carries significant weight. Rejoicing occurred at the site of the miracle. The people did not rejoice later from a safe distance after processing what had occurred. They rejoiced there, standing on the dry ground where water had been, with the evidence of God's power surrounding them. The joy was immediate, rooted in what God had just done, not in abstract theology. He ruleth by his power forever. His eyes behold the nations. Let not the rebellious exalt themselves. Selah. Psalm 66, verse 7. The God who parted the sea has not retired. He rules by his power forever. The present tense matters. His rule is not a past achievement nor a future expectation. It operates now without interruption. The same power that held back the waters of the Red Sea holds back whatever threatens his people today. His eyes behold the nations. God watches every nation with full knowledge of their plans, their rulers, their schemes, and their movements. Nothing escapes his observation. The nations do not operate in a space beyond God's sight. The warning follows. Let not the rebellious exalt themselves. The nations that saw God's works in verse 5 are the same nations warned here.